Jesus said one time, if you forgive others their trespasses, then your Father in heaven will also forgive you. Which is a really nice thing, right? God forgiving us. We like that kind of stuff because we know we do a lot of bad stuff, and we like that peace and security of feeling forgiven. But Jesus also flipped it around just so we made sure to understand part of the terms of forgiveness. He said, if you do not forgive other people, then your Father in heaven will not forgive you. You get that, right? If you don't forgive people who do you wrong, God will not forgive you. So who have you not forgiven? Maybe your parents, who truly were not the kind of people they needed to be. Maybe you got abused or mistreated. What about somebody else in your family? Your spouse or your brother or your sister who did you wrong, who betrayed you, who abandoned you, whatever. What about someone in your church maybe who said something bad about you, or at least you thought they did or said something bad about you? Or maybe someone at work or in your community or whatever. How do you deal with that? It seems to me there's sort of a dual problem with forgiveness. The first problem is I don't want to forgive. Because whenever someone does something bad, I feel the need for them to be punished for that, and for there to be justice, and for me to be taken care of. So I don't want to forgive someone because that's kind of my way of making sure they have to pay for the bad thing they did toward me. So that's problem one with forgiveness. I just don't want to. But then the second problem is I have to. Because Jesus says if I don't forgive, then I won't be forgiven. So if I want to be forgiven, if I want to be close to God, then I have to forgive the people around me. So, I mean, this is a big problem because there's these two completely opposing things going on inside my heart. So how do I fix the problems that I have with forgiveness? Ephesians chapter 4 actually talks about this, and I think helps us understand how we can handle it. Verse 31 says, let all bitterness and anger and clamor and slander, which are all ways that we don't forgive people, let those things be put away. And then verse 32, it says, be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving each other. Okay, how do I do that? I understand I need to be forgiven, but how do I do it? Just as God in Christ also has forgiven you. You know, I think the key to us forgiving each other is to realize the grace that God has given us. That if I've done so many terrible, horrible things to God and He could still forgive me, if He's forgiven me a debt that was beyond what I could ever imagine repay, then maybe I could forgive the people around me for the small debts that they owe me. Now that's hard, and it's a process, and it's something we have to be working on and praying on and studying and learning more and more about God's goodness before we can get there. But if we do, then what will happen is what's said in Ephesians 5 verse 1. Therefore, be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love, just as Christ also loved you and gave Himself up for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God as a fragrant aroma. So in other words, if you can figure out how to appreciate God's grace and thus be gracious and forgiving toward other people, then you'll be more like God. You'll be imitating Him and forgiving others just as He's forgiven you. And you'll be a lot more like Jesus. You'll be someone who's truly reaching upward together toward heaven. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share here on Reaching Upward.